I think the conflict between woke and anti-woke is essentially a conflict between cultural systemism and those opposed to this worldview. On the systemist side are the woke, who believe that our culture primarily consists of interlocking and mutually reinforcing systems of oppression, and that to liberate women and oppressed minorities, all these systems need to be deconstructed and dismantled. On the non-systemist side are liberals, conservatives, and even the progressives of the 2010s. I believe that cultural systemism is bad because it inherently denies the power of ideas, the importance of free will, truth and morality, and ultimately our personal agency to make society better. My opposition to aspects of woke activism, like deplatforming and cancel culture, also stems from my philosophical commitments. Since I believe that a free flow of ideas ultimately leads to more sound ideas winning out, I logically favor free speech. On the other hand, systemists might oppose free speech because they believe it favors speech and ideas that reinforce the systems of oppression. The problem with the anti-woke movement is that it is, and has always been, a coalition of people with different and at times incompatible ideals. Just because we all believe in the primacy of ideas and not systems in defining a society's culture, doesn't mean we can all agree on what ideas we should uphold. Authoritarian conservatives who are part of the anti-woke movement obviously had different priorities. Unlike classical liberals, their agenda is not pluralistic and tolerant of diversity of thought at all. In fact, prominent post-liberal intellectuals have come out and openly criticized classical liberal thinkers, particularly John Stuart Mill, for defending the right of individuals to transgress against traditional social norms. While the classical liberal model supports free thought and free speech for all, and believe that the best ideas will win out in the marketplace of ideas, authoritarian conservatives have the same fear and distrust towards the marketplace of ideas as the woke. While we are anti-woke because we believe in defending the marketplace of ideas and the individual liberty required for it to work, they just oppose wokeism because they want a different, more traditional kind of authoritarianism. We have no trouble being in an alliance with libertarian conservatives because of our shared commitment to classical liberal values. But authoritarian conservatives who want governments to ban transgression against traditional religious norms are actually our biggest ideological enemy historically, and being in any alliance with them is selling out the core values and heritage of classical liberalism. The trouble right now is that it appears that authoritarian conservatives are more powerful than classical liberals in terms of things like money and connections. Many well-funded and well-connected anti-woke media outlets have taken a more authoritarian conservative stance on various issues, or at least given authoritarian conservative voices a bigger platform than classical liberal or libertarian conservative voices. I think this also reflects the recent shift towards authoritarianism seen in the Republican Party and right-wing American politics in general. Which is why it's time to split up and build an alternative that is committed to individual liberty and the marketplace of ideas, and opposes wokeism on these grounds, rather than pseudo-populist reactionary sentiment. An alternative that wants to have serious debates about cultural systemism, rather than starting culture wars about Disney and drag queens.